If you work in IT support on macOS, how much of your day is just clicking? Clicking through system preferences, clicking around the Finder, digging through the activity monitor? It adds up, right? Well, what if I told you that for almost every single one of those clicks, there's a terminal command that's about 10 times faster? We're about to take 30 minutes of your daily clicking and replace it all with just 10 simple commands.
The entire idea is simple. Stop hunting for that one checkbox buried in a menu, and stop navigating endless folders. You see, every second you spend dragging a mouse around is a second you're not solving the next problem. The terminal isn't just for developers, For IT support, it is the ultimate power tool.
So, are you ready to get way faster? This isn't about memorizing some obscure, complicated code. Nope, it's about building a workflow that gets you from problem to solution in seconds, not minutes. Let's get started.
First up, File and Clipboard Magic. Seriously, these are the commands that are going to fundamentally change how you interact with your Mac every single day. First on the list is Open. Now, normally you'd hunt for a Finder window, maybe open a new one, and click through a bunch of folders. But in the terminal, you're already there. You just type Open followed by a period, and boom, the current directory you're in just pops open in a Finder window. It's like a double click on the command line, and it is brilliant.
Now this is where it gets really interesting. See that little vertical line? That's called a pipe. It lets us take the output of one command and pipe it directly as the input for another. The command here is pbcopy, and it sends anything you pipe into it straight to your clipboard. No more trying to carefully highlight text with your mouse. This is just pure, efficient copying.
And of course, where there's a copy, there has to be a paste. PB Paste does the exact opposite. It takes whatever is on your clipboard and prints it right out in the terminal. Now, why is this so powerful? Because you can then pipe that content into other commands. So here, we're taking whatever's on the clipboard and instantly filtering it for the word error. This is an absolute game changer when you're working with log files or any big block of text.
All right, let's go a little deeper. We're now diving into the commands that let you diagnose what's happening under the hood with your network and all your running applications. This is where you really start to feel like a detective.
The classic problem. My service won't start because the port is already in use. In the GUI, you'd have to open up the activity monitor, switch to the network tab, and start hunting. The terminal way? LSOF-I and the port number. This instantly tells you exactly which application is squatting on that port and gives you its process ID, or PID. That's the unique number the operating system uses to keep track of it.
Need to check some network settings? Forget about clicking through that 5-level deep maze in system preferences. The network setup command is your direct line for configuring network settings that actually stick. You can get DNS servers, set them, configure proxies, all with one line, and the changes will survive a reboot.
And for just querying the system state, we have SKUTIL, which stands for System Configuration Utility. It lets you instantly pull information like the computer's hostname. So think of it this way. Network setup is for changing settings, while SKUTIL is fantastic for just quickly reading the live configuration.
Okay, next up, the absolute bedrock of system administration, checking the OS version, reading logs, and managing the system state. These are your essential tools for day-to-day troubleshooting. Need the exact macOS version? Forget the Apple menu. Switch-vers is the command you need. And the most important part here is that it gives you clean, predictable text output. That makes it absolutely perfect for using in automated scripts.
Anyone who's ever used the graphical console app knows it can be incredibly slow and just a pain to use. The modern command line replacement is Log Show. It taps directly into macOS's unified logging system, and it is blazing fast and super powerful. You want to see all the system logs from the last 5 minutes? That's the command, right there.
Ever need to stop a Mac from going to sleep during a long file transfer or a big compile? You could go install a third-party app, or you could just use the built-in caffeinate command. You can run it by itself to keep the Mac awake, or, like you see here, you can tell it to stay awake only as long as another specific process is running. Best part? No installation required.
Okay, so we've learned all the individual instruments. Now it's time to conduct the orchestra. The real power of the command line comes from chaining these simple tools together to do complex tasks in a single line. And this slide right here perfectly illustrates that idea. So let's break down this little recipe. Step 1, LSFOI finds the process that's using our port. Step 2, we pipe that line of text into awk, which is a text processing tool, and we tell it to print only the second column, which just so happens to be the process ID.
And finally, step 3. We pipe that PID right into PBCopy. In one single move, you've found a process, and its PID is now sitting on your clipboard.
So let's put this all together in a real-world scenario. A support ticket comes in, the clock is ticking, you have one goal: solve it fast without ever touching your mouse.
So here's the ticket. A user's local web server on port 8080 is down. They can't connect. This is a classic everyday IT support problem. Our goal is to diagnose and fix this in less time than it takes to make a cup of coffee.
Now, to solve this, we just need one more tool in our belt, the kill command. And yeah, it does exactly what it sounds like. You give it a process ID, and it terminates that process. This is basically the command line version of force quit. So here's how it plays out. You run that one-liner we just built, lsof, pipe to awk, pipe to pbcopy. Just like that, the rogue process's PID is on your clipboard. Your very next command, kill, followed by a quick paste of that ID, and you're done. The port is free, the user can restart their server. You just solve the support ticket in under 30 seconds without a single click.
Look, this is really just the beginning. These 10 commands are your gateway to a much faster, more powerful way of working. They aren't just shortcuts, they're a whole new way of thinking about how to solve problems. So the real question isn't just what you learned today, but what tedious, click-filled task are you going to automate next?